John Joseph Travolta was born on February 18, 1954, in Englewood, New Jersey, the youngest of 6 children in a working-class household where money was scarce but imagination ran wild. His father, Salvatore Travolta, worked long hours selling tires, while his mother, Helen Cecilia Burke, was a former actress and drama teacher who filled their modest home with music, storytelling, and performance. The living room doubled as a stage, and everyday life became rehearsal. While other children played outside, John practiced dance steps on the kitchen floor, learning rhythm before he understood ambition. His mother's belief in him was unwavering, and it planted something powerful inside the shy boy from New Jersey. Long before fame, before cameras and applause, John Travolta learned that dreams were fragile, demanding effort, sacrifice, and courage, long before they offered anything in return. Leaving everything behind. At just 16 years old, John Travolta made a decision that terrified his family and defined his future. He left high school and moved to New York City with little more than a suitcase, borrowed money, and belief. Broadway did not greet him kindly. He slept on friends' couches, waited tables, and attended endless auditions where rejection became routine. Casting directors barely glanced at him, and roles were rare and small. Yet something inside him refused to quit. He trained relentlessly, sharpened his dancing, studied acting, and absorbed rejection without letting it harden him. There were nights filled with doubt, moments when the dream felt reckless and impossible. Still, he stayed. Each small opportunity felt like proof that persistence mattered. These years were not glamorous, but they forged discipline and resilience. John wasn't chasing fame. He was chasing survival, determined to prove that his mother's faith in him was not misplaced. The sudden explosion of fame. Everything changed in 1975 when John Travolta landed the role of Vinnie Barbarino on Welcome Back, Kotter. The character's charm and humor resonated instantly, transforming him into a television sensation almost overnight. Teenagers idolized him, magazines chased him, and fame arrived faster than he could process. Yet television success felt limiting. John wanted more. In 1977, Saturday Night Fever gave him that chance. His portrayal of Tony Manero captured a generation's hunger for escape, identity, and meaning. The film became a cultural earthquake, its music and imagery reshaping popular culture worldwide. At just 24, Travolta became the youngest actor ever nominated for a Best Actor Oscar. Disco floors lit up, white suits became iconic, and John Travolta was no longer just famous. He was a global symbol. The dream had arrived, louder and brighter than anyone imagined. When the world turns cold, fame, however, is rarely loyal. As quickly as Hollywood crowned John Travolta, it began to move on. Entering the 1980s, a series of career choices failed to connect with audiences. Films underperformed, critics grew harsher, and the industry's tone shifted from admiration to dismissal. The same media that once celebrated him now questioned his relevance. Offers dwindled, scripts lost their excitement, and whispers of decline grew louder. Travolta was still talented, still working, but Hollywood had a short memory. For a man who had reached extraordinary heights so young, the fall felt especially cruel. Confidence gave way to uncertainty, and success no longer felt guaranteed. This wasn't just a professional downturn. It was an identity crisis. When the applause fades, an artist must confront who they are without it. For John Travolta, this period tested his belief in himself more than any rejection ever had. The comeback nobody expected. In the early 1990s, John Travolta was widely considered a relic of another era. Then a bold filmmaker named Quentin Tarantino saw something others had missed. Casting Travolta as Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction was a gamble that nearly everyone questioned. Yet when the film premiered, it rewrote the narrative entirely. Travolta's performance was magnetic, playful, and deeply human. The world rediscovered him not as a disco icon, but as a serious, versatile actor. The dance scene, casual and imperfect, symbolized rebirth rather than nostalgia. Pulp Fiction became a cultural milestone, earning critical acclaim and restoring Travolta's credibility overnight. Suddenly, he was relevant again, not because of past glory, but present talent. This comeback wasn't just professional redemption. It was proof that reinvention was possible, even after being written off. Hollywood had buried him once. Against all odds, he stood up again. Love, fatherhood, and purpose. Behind the scenes, John Travolta found something more meaningful than success: family. His marriage to actress Kelly Preston brought stability and warmth to his life. Together, they built a home grounded in love rather than celebrity. Fatherhood changed him deeply, shifting his priorities away from fame and toward presence. He became known among friends as devoted, protective, and deeply engaged in his children's lives. Career decisions increasingly reflected that balance. Roles mattered less than time spent together. For Travolta, family offered grounding in an industry built on illusion. These years represented a quieter success, one measured not by box office numbers, but by shared moments, routines, and trust. The man who once defined an era on screen was discovering fulfillment away from it, finding identity not in applause, but in responsibility, love, and connection that felt real in a way fame never could. A loss that changed everything. In 2009, John Travolta experienced a tragedy that reshaped his life permanently with the loss of his son, Jet. The event was sudden, devastating, and profoundly personal. No amount of fame, experience, or resilience prepares a parent for such loss. Travolta withdrew from public life, focusing inward on grief, family, and survival. Interviews became rare, performances quieter. Friends described him as changed, not broken, but altered. Grief does not announce itself loudly. It settles, reshaping priorities and perspective. Travolta continued to work, but something fundamental had shifted. The joy that once radiated so easily now carried weight. His understanding of life, success, and time deepened. Loss taught him what fame never could, that some wounds do not heal, they simply become part of who you are. From that moment on, John Travolta's story carried a gravity no role could replicate. Facing life after loss. As the years passed, Travolta navigated life with careful intention, prioritizing privacy and family above public expectation. Another heartbreaking loss followed in 2020 with the passing of his wife, Kelly Preston, after a private battle with illness. Once again, the world offered condolences, but only those closest understood the depth of what he endured. Widowed and raising his children, Travolta stepped further away from Hollywood's center. Public appearances became limited, and his energy shifted toward being present as a father. Grief layered upon grief, reshaping his relationship with fame entirely. He no longer chased relevance or recognition. Survival itself became the achievement. His resilience was quieter now, expressed through consistency, care, and responsibility. In choosing to live forward rather than retreat completely, John Travolta demonstrated a different kind of strength, one rooted not in spotlight, but in endurance. The quiet years today, John Travolta lives largely outside the noise that once defined him. Florida offers space, privacy, and distance from constant attention. His days are structured, calm, and intentionally simple. While he continues to act selectively, his presence in Hollywood has softened. The industry that once demanded everything now occupies a smaller place in his life. He remains financially secure, culturally significant, and deeply respected, but fame no longer drives him. Instead, fatherhood anchors him. Time with his children matters more than premieres or accolades. Travolta's life today reflects reflection rather than ambition. He has lived multiple lives within one lifetime: icon, outsider, comeback story, and survivor. Each phase left its mark. The silence that surrounds him now is not emptiness, but choice. It is the space of someone who has learned that meaning is not found in being seen, but in continuing quietly when the lights fade. A legacy beyond stardom. John Travolta's legacy cannot be measured solely by films or fame. He shaped popular culture, redefined eras, and proved reinvention possible when failure seemed final. Yet his most enduring impact lies beyond cinema. His story reflects the full spectrum of human experience: hope, triumph, loss, resilience, and grace. He reminds us that icons are not immune to pain, and success offers no protection from grief. Travolta's journey teaches that life does not follow a single arc. It bends, breaks, and reshapes us in ways we never expect. What remains is how we respond. Today, his legacy is not just remembered, it's felt. In the courage to continue, in choosing family over applause, in living honestly after loss. John Travolta didn't just make the world dance. He showed what it means to keep standing when the music stops,